Talk Radio 640 WGST.
Welcome back, and you're listening to Health Tech Talk, broadcasting live on iHeartRadio at the iHeartRadio studios, 640 WGST. With me in this segment is Jack Lewin. He is the president and CEO of the Cardiovascular Research Foundation. He has an incredible background. I've had the pleasure of knowing Jack for a couple of years. He is definitely an innovator and a maverick in the space of healthcare. Jack, welcome to the show. My audience is really excited to have you.
Thank you, Ben. I'm glad to be here.
All right. So before we jump into your organization, and I know it's National Heart Month, and we want to talk a little bit about that as well. Your background is amazing. Not only are you the CEO of the Cardiovascular Research Foundation, you're the former CEO of the American College of Cardiology. Before that, you were the California Medical Association CEO. Before that, you were the Hawaii's Director of Health. I mean, your bio goes on. And before that, you were the commissioned officer of the USPHS for the Navajo Nation Department of Health. This is like amazing stuff. So in your career, you've done some, amazing things. You've been in Hawaii, you've been in the U.S., you've been in New York, you've been in D.C. What a great career. And what's your favorite part about all this?
It's hard to say because I loved every step along the way. It was all incredibly exciting. I'm just glad that I still have a house on Maui. That's not bad news.
That's not bad at all.
But I think each step has been fun, and I'm loving this phase here in Manhattan, which is really a combination of being involved in heart-related research, and human clinical trials to advance outcomes. But we not only advance outcomes with science, and do that we're the biggest player in the interventional cardiology space in terms of that kind of research, interventional cardiology clinical trials.
So for Jack, for the audience that doesn't understand what that means, what is that?
What are clinical trials?
No, yeah.
When you're trying to find something out in science, you ask a question, and then you go out and you get people to volunteer to be part of the research project, and you compare one population of people with another population of people to see if a particular drug or device works better, and actually, which one works better and how in which populations it works better. So you learn how to improve the outcomes for people so that they, despite their genetic individuality, despite male versus female, different ethnicities, different subtleties in terms of clinical symptoms and so forth, how to actually achieve the best possible outcome for people with very serious heart disease, which is still the number one killer worldwide, and despite all the progress we've made. And then we also educate in this space. So we reach 50,000 people, in person in meetings in the U.S., but also Russia, China, India, South America, the Middle East, other Asia locations, Japan and Korea, to get the news out there and try to get the best care, the best practices in the hands of physicians all around the world to improve the cure for people with heart disease.
So Jack, in the last 10 years, what are the biggest changes or innovations in heart innovation?
Well, if you think about this, Ben, what's amazing is if you go from 2000 to now, there has been a 30% reduction in morbidity and mortality in heart disease. And there's been a 40% reduction in mortality with congenital heart disease, which is a stunning improvement. And yet it's still, ahead of cancer and everything else in terms of the number one killer. So, the fact that we're in heart this month that celebrates, the heart and the benefits of the therapies and prevention that's available to us, it's really important because there's so much more progress to be made.
And is the progress that's been made, so the 30% or more, how much of that is based on early detection or technology, or is it all just formulary? Is it just all pharmaceuticals?
No, really, there's a lot of. Prevention is still the most powerful way to go about this. We've improved the therapeutics. If you're, when I was starting out in training, if you had a heart attack, we put you to bed, and we put you on oxygen, we gave you morphine, we put you to bed for weeks and had you rest, and we didn't have much else to do. Today, if you're having a heart attack, we go inside through the arteries and veins into your heart, get rid of the plug in the coronary artery, and cure the heart attack in just a matter of, a couple of minutes. And your heart starts pumping normally again. And we do amazing things. We replace the heart valves. We can now replace heart valves inside your heart without opening your chest with surgery, by going in through the femoral artery, in your groin, and threading up this amazing technology which crushes the existing defective heart valve, and a brand new titanium alloy valve opens up, embeds itself, and you have a brand new heart valve. And, you haven't even had to have complete general anesthesia for this procedure. You get to go home in a day or two feeling great. Miracles are happening. But you know what? The big miracle is, for everybody listening, is that we've got all kinds of interesting technology that can help you, wearable technology that can help you monitor your own heart health, and improvements on the way in terms of exercise and nutrition and heart rate and all that sort of stuff.
Well, I want to dig deeper into that, and this is an area that's really important to me, because my father in his early 40s had his first heart attack, and then in his mid 40s had triple bypass. And for me, as a guy, middle-aged guy, I look at it as heart first. To me, that's the one thing. When I was a 13-year-old kid and my dad had triple bypass, it's the one thing that I always took serious. To me, it's like one of the most important things. So anytime someone's doing something to innovate in cardiology, it sort of blows me away, and I really want to support it. So this is one of the areas that really touches me, and it's the one thing that scares me the most. So when you mention that with technologies, and so devices and apps, and can you give the audience an example of what do you mean? So what can the average person do to monitor themselves?
Well, today, we have really pretty effective devices that can measure your blood pressure. You can use a wrist cuff and measure your blood pressure. You can have a wearable device. There's a dozen or more on the market that help you track, improving your heart rate and work on getting enough exercise and steps in the day. Or there are just so many different ways that we can use wearable devices to help us improve our heart health, including even whether you're getting a good night's sleep and your sleep patterns, which also affect heart disease and health. So it's exercise, it's nutrition, it's following your vital signs, it's tracking your weight and weight loss. All those things can be monitored by you and rather than by your doctor, which is a wonderful new way to go. And for somebody that has a heart rhythm disturbance like atrial fibrillation, they can wear a wearable device that alerts them when they're having an arrhythmia, and that automatically alerts their doctor in some cases. So some amazing things are available to us these days to help us monitor our own heart health and monitor our progress toward getting healthier.
Right, but in today's world, some of the onus does go on the patient. You need to be aware of this, this, and this. There are steps that you can do to take care of yourself. When you started in practice, was any of the onus on the patient?
Very little. Very little. We would give people advice. But, even the nutritional advice we gave 20 years ago, look at all the controversies about which diet is the most important diet. There's really a lot of confusion. Or how much exercise do you need? And how long, and how much, and what kind. So there's still a lot of confusion in those areas where there's more research to be done, if you will. But we do know that that getting rid of a lot of refined carbohydrates out of your diet is one of the better ways to lose weight these days. We used to say get the fats out of the diet,
right.
And now we're saying carbohydrates are actually more dangerous in terms of pre-diabetes and diabetes, and also in terms of causing weight gain. So we're really learning as we go, a variety of things. But an exercise program, a healthy diet, getting your body mass index, your BMI, to be in the right range, and taking care of those things yourself there's nothing more important than those steps.
But it's never too late to start, right? So if you're overweight or you're in your 60s and you've never done anything, or your 70s, I can still start and make a difference, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just walking briskly for, an hour a day or a half an hour a day is an amazingly healthy thing to be doing. But we do have to get, it's perfuse it or lose it. It's like you do need to get your heart beating and up over 100 beats per minute to kind of keep perfusing your body, those little microcapillaries that close down as we get older if we're not using them. And that includes the brain. So perfuse it or lose it is a very important adage to be thinking about during this month.
I think 50% of the reason I go to the gym every day is for that, and 50% is it's mental, but I think you have to do it. It keeps me going. I need to take a commercial break. I can't wait to come back and ask Jack some more questions. You're listening to Health Tech Talk, broadcasting on iHeartRadio Studios, 640 WGST. A special shout-out to 1-800-PR for all their PR and media support, and to Stream VPG, especially John in the control room, and Scott and Jeremy supporting us today. We'll be back after these messages from our sponsors.
Buying a car can be the worst. Scotty from the Power Morning Show. Unless you're using TrueCar.com, they're helping you save time and money. Two things we all wish we had more of. Helping you to never overpay. Users see an average savings of over $3,200 off MSRP. It's a pretty simple three-step process. First, you go to TrueCar.com and find out what others paid for the same car you're looking for. Second, register at TrueCar.com to see your upfront pricing information and lock in your savings certificate. And third, it's simple. Just print out your certificate and take it to the TrueCar certified dealer for a better, hassle-free car buying experience. Don't buy a car without using TrueCar.com.
Join host Ben Chodor every Saturday at 3 p.m. for Health Tech Talk. He'll have special guests each week and talk about the healthcare industry, emerging news, and advancements in what it means to you. Health Tech Talk, Saturdays at 3 p.m.
Do you sleep hot? Introducing the new patented Dormeo Elevate, the only memory foam mattress of its kind that actually sleeps cool. Unlike every other memory foam mattress, it isn't just a block of foam. The Dormeo Elevate has been completely reinvented and is made of hundreds of honeycomb-structured memory foam springs. This simple but ingenious idea allows fresh air to move freely through the mattress, dispersing body heat so you finally sleep cool and dry. It's a truly weightless experience. People who sleep on the Dormeo Elevate say it's like nothing they have ever experienced. That's why Dormeo is offering something unheard of in the mattress business. They'll let you sleep on it for 100 days. If you are not sleeping cooler and this mattress hasn't transformed you physically, mentally, and spiritually, Dormeo will gladly give you 100% of your money back and, of course, pay for shipping both ways. There's absolutely no risk, and for a limited time, Dormeo is offering interest-free financing for 3 years. Get started now at trydormeo.com. That's trydormeo.com.
Would you like an extended warranty with your new refrigerator, sir?
Ma'am, an extended warranty for your washer provides extra protection.
Well...
And what about an extended warranty?
An extended warranty is recommended.
An extended warranty?
No thanks. I have complete coverage with Total Protect.
An extended warranty is definitely something you should have, but buying a separate one for every appliance would cost a fortune. Now with TotalProtect.com, everything can be covered under one home warranty. That's right, we'll cover the repair and replacement costs of up to 20 of your most vital home appliances, from your hot water heater to your refrigerator or heating system. You can even choose to cover your electronics, like your computer or TV. And at TotalProtect.com, you'll have total control to personalize a plan to fit your needs and budget. And when breakdowns occur, our 180-day workmanship guarantee provides total peace of mind. For free information and a no-obligation free quote, call TotalProtect.com at 1-800-949-9588. 1-800-949-9588. 1-800-949-9588.
Ever have one of those days when the clutch in your brain goes out, your mouth won't work, and you cannot find a good attitude to save your life? Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. When I have a bad day, I try to remember those kids that I have visited who are fighting cancer. Their little bodies are weak from battling this dreaded disease and from surgeries and cancer treatments, but they're not sad or down. Incredibly, they have this great attitude that they're going to beat the tar out of this monster, childhood cancer. They believe they'll survive. In their courageous hearts, they believe we, the grown-ups, will do something about this monster. They believe and trust in us. If these kids have the heart to keep fighting and living, then the rest of us must have the heart to help them. Your donation to Cure Childhood Cancer will help fund the life-saving research for kids who are battling and believing. It'll make your day. Donate at curechildhoodcancer.org.
Bloomberg, the first word with Ken Pruitt. Monday morning at 5 on Talk Radio 640 WGST.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Health Tech Talk, broadcasting from iHeartRadio Studios, Atlanta, Georgia, 640 WGST, and streaming worldwide on the iHeartRadio network. Welcome to the show. If you're just tuning in, with me is Jack Lewin. Jack, we're talking heart, and one of the things I want to jump in right away is innovation, right? So your organization is all about innovation. What cardio innovations do you see in the pipeline? Because obviously you get a sneak preview of almost everything out there.
Yeah. So Ben, just before I get into the innovation, I'm just going to say again to remind people that if you stop smoking, if you eat a healthier diet, if you exercise, if your blood lipids, if your cholesterol, and particularly the bad kind of part of the cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol, if those levels are too high, and you've done diet and exercise, then one of the most amazing innovations in the last decade or 2 decades is statin therapy, medications which actually lower the LDL cholesterol and have significantly reduced heart attack risk, stroke risk, and so forth for millions and millions of people all over the world. So there are medications that help. If you have high blood pressure, there are medications that can take that down. That's another very, very important risk factor. And if you, there are other problems that we can deal with. Diabetes control is a very important. And even look, HIV is a precursor to heart disease. Most people with HIV today are going to die of heart disease. And that's because they have accelerated risks for heart disease. So there are so many things that people need to know about this. But the technology of the therapeutic technology, putting stents in arteries, and pulling out the clots that are blocking your artery that cause a heart attack, and doing that without opening your chest, that's miraculous. We now have new bioresorbable stents, which instead of metal stents, which can eventually cause other kind of clots to form in a small number of patients. We now have stents that go in and open up a clogged artery and keep it open. But then they get resorbed by the body and they just disappear, but the artery stays open. I mentioned before we have heart valves that are going into a small catheter through your femoral artery into your heart to actually replace a damaged heart valve without surgery. Amazing. And you can recover quickly and feel great in a day or two instead of weeks and weeks of recovery from surgery. So that's exciting stuff. And we have many, many other things coming. We have cell therapy where we can actually replace the damaged heart muscle after a heart attack with new cells. That's in the pipeline. And, it may soon be possible, literally, to have a progenitor heart cell that comes out of a stem cell out of your skin where we could actually have a heart in a laboratory that's grown. It's your heart waiting for you someday. And that's probably not more than a couple of decades away in terms of the progression of science. So innovation is really amazing.
Where do you think genome testing falls into all this?
Genome testing and immunologic markers are going to be more and more important in terms of predicting things that we could avoid by knowing that you have these risk factors. That's coming too, absolutely.
So, but the
only thing I would just want to add about innovation is that, in the U.S., because we're very interested in protecting patient safety, and even one side effect or one complication is one too many. But we are going to lose our leadership in terms of developing new drugs and new devices and the whole industry around innovation if we don't kind of help fund the FDA to become a regulatory body that can move things through the pipeline faster and at lower cost, keep up with Europe, keep up with Asia and China in this regard. We need to invest in innovation. Our NIH has fewer dollars for research on a per capita basis today than it's had in 40 years. This is really scary that we're not investing in our future like China and the EU and other places are. So we've got to keep promoting innovation because saving 30% reduction in mortality in the last 10 years is scratching the surface. A lot of it is your own choice to go for prevention and healthy lifestyle. But we also need to promote the therapeutics for people who do have serious heart disease.
But it's not all doom and gloom in innovation in the U.S., right? I mean, we besides putting more money into it, we are doing a lot of amazing things.
We are. Maybe more so in the technology world and in what comes out of like the Silicon Valley area. But in the actual, the kind of research, infrastructure research to answer some of the the science questions that are looming out there, no, we're not investing as much anymore because the Congress can't agree on anything. So we have so much partisan gridlock that we're letting, our treasured NIH agency, which does, some of the real basic preliminary research that industry then takes over, that's atrophying. And the FDA isn't funded well enough to really, speed the process up. So companies in the U.S. that develop, for example, that heart valve I was telling you about, percutaneous heart valve, that valve was available in 37 other countries before it came to the U.S., and yet all those percutaneous valves were designed and developed in the U.S. So we're forcing our best science offshore, and we've got to turn that around.
We definitely have to turn that around. So, Jack, I have a few more questions for you in my final minutes with you. One is, everyone says you should take a baby aspirin. Should you take a baby aspirin if you're, a middle-aged male or female? Does it really do anything?
Well, there's some good evidence that baby aspirin does help. It sort of prevents clotting. It keeps your blood a little bit thinner. But there's some conflicting evidence, too. I mean, particularly for some women patients where maybe a little bit of extra bleeding is as much of a risk as you're preventing. So the question on aspirin is out. And you know what? Because aspirin is so cheap and readily available, there's no pharmaceutical company that wants to do aspirin research. So that's something the federal government needs to do. Because we know that aspirin is part of the ABCs of cardiovascular prevention, and that's a little baby aspirin, blood pressure, cholesterol management, and stop smoking. But the aspirin question is out there, and for many people who have a family risk of heart disease, taking a baby aspirin every day is probably a very solid prevention strategy.
Okay, Jack, give us 5 tips that anyone out there, no matter what your age is, you should be doing for a heart-healthy life.
All right. I just covered them. I'm going to cover them again.
Yep.
If you have high blood pressure, get it treated and get it down. If you have high cholesterol or LDL cholesterol, get it treated and get that level down. If you're smoking, stop. If you're overweight and your body mass index is too high, get your weight down and get into a healthy range, and exercise. And there are lots of tools that can help you do that these days. And then if you still have heart disease and you have other risks like diabetes, get to a physician who can help you and advise you to make sure that you have that healthy lifestyle. All
right, Jack, I got 35 seconds left with you, so I'm going to ask you, if you sat down here with me in 5 or 6 years from now, where do you think the world of heart protection and heart therapy is going to be?
Well, I think we're going to have, we're all going to be wearing, if we went to devices that help us monitor all those things I was talking about, your blood pressure, your lipid levels, your daily exercise rate, the impact of your diet and your health program, your sleep habits, your stress levels, all those things that contribute to heart disease will be self-monitoring so that we can self-correct. And I think the therapeutics that's coming is just science fiction, just out of this world stuff, Ben. In terms of what we're going to be able to do for people who do have serious heart disease, in terms of helping.
I can't wait to have you back on the show to talk about that, but I got to go now. You've been listening to Health Tech Talk. I am Ben Chodor. My guest has been Dr. John Lewin. He is the president and CEO of the Cardiovascular Research Foundation, and you've been listening to Health Tech Talk. Have a great